Great. Okay, so my idea for this little kickoff meeting was just go over some general overview of what's involved in this program, and then to have time to carve out for a first little breakout rooms with your partner. And like I said, when we get to that point, if your partner's not here, we'll talk about that. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here. Hopefully, let's see. I'm not as adept at this, I think, as you all are with all of your practice sharing. Okay, so can we see my screen? Okay, great. I want to get a view so I can see all of you. So that's what we're going to do. We'll get you out of here on time, I promise. And feel free to put things in the chat if you want as well. So let's see what we're. Oh, I gotta be on the right screen. Oh, okay. I did want to introduce you guys all to my whole team. So I work at Towson University. For Olivia and Lauren, I'm not actually on Towson's campus. The Center for STEM Excellence, which is my department, we're in the Inner Harbor of Baltimore. And I think Beth, Mallory, and John, I think you've all been there. So my team is pretty small, but we have Kara Berger and Earl Brooks, and Kara is an instructional specialist with us. Earl is our Conservation Corps intern, something that some of the students might consider after they graduate. If you're looking for something to do, you can do, it's a fellowship for a year. Henry Jackson and Debbie Phillips over here. Can you see my pointer? Okay, great. Lab technicians, myself, I'm the director, and then Yvonne Eder is our administrative assistants, but the people, and Anne Marie is another one of our education specialists. The ones you're going to interact mostly with are myself and Lizzie, who's going to help us just keep the wheels on this program and keep it all moving. So let's talk a little bit about this program and what we're doing. So this is the first year that we're doing this. So you guys are all my inaugural cohort. So you'll go down in infamy with that. But this came about because we really wanted to start connecting the Towson students with K-12 classrooms. And this crazy time of virtual learning actually seemed like the best time to do this because everybody's so much more comfortable with the technology, right? I think there would have been a lot of hurdles to get over before, but now this is second nature. And I think especially with the students, like timing is difficult, transportation is difficult. So you're not always able to physically get into classrooms, but I feel like a lot of students want to reach out and talk with K-12 students. And so our goal is to just make these connections because I think that Towson students can serve as great near-peer mentors to these students. So near-peer just means you're closer in age, they can relate to you, they can see themselves where you're at in life much easier than they can see where I'm at in life. And our goal is to inspire all students to consider STEM fields, but with a particular focus on those traditionally underrepresented in STEM fields. And so that's often students of color, women. So we really want to focus on that population of students. And we want to give middle and high school students not only learn about STEM subjects, but even just a window into what the college experience is like, right? So hopefully that can be part of what you guys are doing. I'm hoping that this will allow some of our TU mentors to build communication skills. So it's one thing to do well in your classes and do well on your exams, but can you explain some of these ideas to other people? And I think that'll be a really good opportunity. It's 100% virtual. So even if you teachers start going back, which Beth, are you back? Because you're in Carroll County. Are you seeing students?
I have an ADA accommodation because I'm high risk, believe it or not. So I am still virtually teaching my students, and we have students supposedly in the school, but we barely have any kids showing up in person right now.
Okay. And Mallory and John, are you doing any in-person instruction now?
Baltimore City, no. K through 5 and 9 through 12 are slowly transitioning back in, but middle school, I'm not. And I'm also high risk, so even if they go back, I will be home.
Yeah. And in
Okay,
Prince George's, we're not even come back for third quarter right now. They're preparing us to stay out through third quarter, most likely into fourth quarter before we see any kids.
okay. So sounds like you guys will be virtual anyway, but if things change, the students will remain virtual for this. And yeah, so that's sort of the background. So the heart of this program is what I'm calling a mentoring project, right? And so that's what you guys, the host teacher and the TU student mentor will develop together. And just to give you guys some parameters around this project, our TU students have up to 40 hours roughly to put into this project over the next semester. And some of their hours, like this counts as an hour. So it's not necessarily meant to be all in front of the students, right? If say, you say, well, I want you to develop a lesson on this. And they spend 5 hours developing that lesson, so it's not going to be all right in front of the kids. The host teachers have agreed to spend some time outside of class supporting their students. So that's planning meetings and things like that. And then the mentoring plan is meant to be jointly developed by the host teacher and the student mentor. So particularly for the teachers, I think when I asked you guys, when you applied, you put in some ideas for maybe what it would be. And I think I even asked the students, what do you have to offer? What do you think you might see in this? So you're not at all like beholden to what you put in. What I would like you guys to do is see who you've been matched with and see if you can see what skills the students are bringing and what needs you have as a teacher. And come up with a plan. And it's going to be different for every pair. So there's no single right way to do this. The interactions in the classroom virtually, they can begin as soon as you want. But I also know, and you may not have the security clearances to get in there yet. So maybe they don't start until March. It's totally up to you guys to figure out what works best for you guys. And I will ask now, well, there is a part on this form you're going to be filling out later if you have any issues with the security clearances. Olivia and Lauren, did we get you all sorted? Do you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I have an appointment getting fingerprinted Thursday. And then once I get that done and get it notarized, I should be hearing back about a background check, I believe. And then I should be good.
And Olivia, your situation, you're with Charles County. So what was going on?
Yeah, I had emailed her all of the paperwork over the weekend, and she got back to me this morning and said that I would know within the next 10 days if everything was all good. And
right. Okay. I think I was copied. That's coming back to me. And then Mallory, are you good with your student? Where did we leave that? You're in the city. Did you have to do anything? No, I don't think so. Yeah. I think I sent a letter to your principal.
Yeah. She actually introduced herself today to the students.
Oh, great. Okay. And then Beth, we're trying to figure out stuff for you. So.
Okay. I didn't know where that was yet.
Yeah. We'll touch base. I think I sent a letter to your principal. Yeah. I did an email.
I saw that. I was CC'd on that. And then I haven't heard anything from him or anyone else. So I'm just waiting.
Okay. And Mr. Morris, yeah, you're with Lawrence. You guys have that worked out. So one thing I will say, I think most of us are sorted here, maybe except for Ms. Schaap, but ping me if you are waiting for something, because as far as I know, I've sent out at least my initial things to everybody of what needs to be done. So Beth, if your principal doesn't reply to you and you need me to jump back in there, let me know, and we'll get all that worked out. Great. Okay. When I thought about this project, I didn't even consider the fingerprinting issue and all that. So it was a bit of a hurdle, and I appreciate everybody's patience. We're trying to figure out how all that works. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Okay. So the other thing I want to say is we're going to be talking a little bit about inclusive science teaching. So again, my one of the goals of this program is to really make all students understand that they can do science. and put with a particular focus on the students that are traditionally excluded, both implicitly and explicitly. So I'm going to ask you guys in your mentoring plan to talk a little bit about how you plan to center inclusivity in any work that you do. But for some of us, that might be a new idea, or we might not have thought very much about it. So I'm also giving you an assignment that's going to be due on February 10th, where you guys are going to just kind of Google inclusive science teaching, read about it on your own, do a little bit of independent resource search, and then you're going to choose one resource to kind of share with others and do a written reflection on it. So by clicking on this link here, that will take you to the assignment. And I will say I'm going to send this slide deck to you guys, so you'll have all these links after this, and I'll put all your assignments and stuff in an email to remind you about that. There's not a lot. And the other thing is we were going to have 2 webinars. So this is the first one. The second one, I'm going to have it be about inclusive science teaching. So I haven't picked a date for that yet. So I will figure that out, and we might do it a similar way where there's 2 dates that you could choose from, so we can try to accommodate everybody's schedules. And so hopefully it'll be early enough. I'm thinking maybe March, so that if you learn anything, you can try incorporating it into what you're doing. I'm going to pause for a moment. Yes, John asked if I'll be sharing this document, and I will be. Do you guys have any questions so far? I've just gone through a bunch of stuff really fast. Okay. Great. So my next thing is the mentoring project planning. Hopefully we'll begin tonight if you're here with your partner. And then what we're going to do is there's a Google Doc, and you'll get a link to that, where we're going to capture everybody's ideas. And we're going to consider this to be a living document, so you guys can update it as needed. But what I would like to see at same due date is by February 10th. I'd really like you guys to have your mentoring plans kind of flushed out a little bit, well, pretty solidly, right? And I know they might change, and that's fine, but I just want to kind of give you a deadline to get these interactions going. And again, you can change that at any point if you need to. And so some things that you might want to think about when you're talking with your partner is, what are you hoping to get out of this program? Just talk about maybe a little bit why you're doing it. You can share ideas from mentoring. You guys might be coming in with a very specific idea, and that's okay, but you can also share other ideas. The other thing that you obviously want to talk about is availability, right? So make sure that you students, I think you guys both have your schedules, right? So you know when you're available, if you're going to do any synchronous stuff. Also talk about the best way to communicate. We all have different styles. So are you a texter? Are you an emailer? If you're an emailer, do you check it every day? Those kind of things. Also consider, and maybe before any issues pop up, talk about how you want to be held accountable. If you're not following through on things, how would you like your partner to let you know that there's problems? And then mentor students, consider sharing what perspectives, skills, experiences you're most excited to bring to this project. And then classroom teachers, consider what do you think your students would really be engaged with and would really speak to them. So those are just some ideas to help you guys begin this planning meeting. So you've done the planning document. So what's next? So the to-dos that you guys have going on is you're going to finish that mentoring project plan document in a pretty solid form by February 10th. That gives you guys a lot of time to kind of figure out what's going to work for you. Doesn't mean the student needs to be in the classroom by February 10th. That's just when you have the plan. Their inclusive science teaching reflection assignment. The link is in here, and I will also send that out to you in an email. And that's something that's going to be due February 10th. Begin mentoring, again, at whatever point works for your plan. Maybe some of you will be in the classroom next week. Some of you might not go in the classroom until the middle of February. Totally up to you guys. I will be sending information about our second and final webinar, which is going to be on inclusive science teaching. And there will be a final mentoring reflection at the end of this program that I will assign you guys in May. In a little bit, I'm going to talk to Lauren and Temilola about the timesheets, but the host teachers are going to receive a $200 stipend, and we will do that towards the end of the program. So I will be emailing you some paperwork for that, for the host teachers, probably around April. And then if you need to contact us, you guys know how to reach us. The last two slides I have are going to be for students only. The mentor teachers are welcome to hang around, but it's just about how to fill out their timesheets and one other additional project that they can choose to be a part of. But before we let you guys go, any final questions? Okay, great. But for now, we will take you through the timesheets. So I think I'll just go over a big overview and Lauren can give you some more details, but the TU timesheets, they're technically due on Fridays, but I have to sign them. So I want you guys to fill them out by the Wednesday at noon before the pay period ends.
Okay, no problem.
Pay periods last 2 weeks. If you want to know what the week breakdowns are, you can always click on this link. If you don't fill it out, you won't get paid. So do remember that. And that's the official one. That's your TU timesheet. We also are going to be sending you a Google form every 2 weeks to tell us how many hours you spent that week, because we want to keep track of your cumulative hours just to make sure you're not going over 40 hours. And it's too hard to do with your official timesheets. So there's 2 ways to do timesheets. Have you guys ever done timesheets before?
Yes, I have. Oh,
At Towson?
no, not at Towson.
Okay, you have. Oh, not at Towson. Okay, so Lizzie is, I'm going to stop sharing, and she's going to walk you through how you might do this. But the one caveat is the whole pay period, or the whole timesheet system is changing in like February or March. It's supposed to get easier, but Lizzie will show you how to do it for now. And actually, if you're at your computers and you want to work along with her, you can do this to see if your timesheet is showing up. So you might want to do this. So take it away, Lizzie.
Okay, let me share my screen. Sorry about all the tabs I have open. First is the Towson's timesheets. So from the main page of the university, you go to My TU. And then you would scroll down to timesheets. And you would log in with your net ID and password. They typically show up here. Mine are currently gone because they the pay period just ended on Friday, so it usually I think mine usually show up about like a week before they're due. So I can't show you how to fill them out exactly, but basically you fill in your start time for each day and then your ending time, and then you have to go through and click approve, and then they'll get sent off. If you guys think it would be beneficial for you, I can screen record myself doing my timesheets for this coming pay period and send it to you all so that you have an idea of how to do it. Do you think that would be something you guys would want me to do for you?
I think that would definitely be helpful if you didn't want to, though.
No, I can
you
definitely.
Could send us like a step-by-step thing, like in an email. That would be helpful too.
Document with screenshots or something so that you can refer back to it more easily. Usually they show up like a week.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, I'll try to do that probably like this weekend when mine show up again. So refer back to that once I get it done. This is where you'll find it though, and they do have like a little link to a FAQ page if you want to read over that for help. This is how we're keeping track of your cumulative hours. Like Dr. Stapleton said, I'm going to be sending this to you. I think I'll schedule it to send on the Monday morning that timesheets are due. So you'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday until noon to fill these out. It's the same every week. So if you wanted to bookmark it, you can, but I'll be sending it out so you don't have to worry about it. It's pretty self-explanatory to fill out. You would just put your name, and then the pay periods should line up with the pay periods for your Towson timesheet. So this is the current pay period that we're in. And on your timesheets, it'll show the pay period end date right here. So you just want to make sure that you're clicking the one that correlates. And then you would put how many hours you worked. And this is just to make sure that you're not going above 40, because with this project, it can be really variable how many hours you work a week. So if you work like 20 hours one week and then you don't work for a couple other weeks, this is just how we want to make sure we're keeping track. And then you hit submit, and then the next week you'd come back and do the exact same thing. It'll show a blank when you have to do it again. And they'll be emailed to you. So you can just open up your email every Monday when I send it and like do it real quick. You don't have to worry about like describing what you did or anything like that. It's just to keep track of hours. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect.
That'd be great. Okay, and one final thing I wanted to tell you both about is this one other opportunity we have that's associated with this program, but slightly separate. What we're doing, we're trying to make what we're calling a science shorts video series. Am I sharing my screen correctly? I don't think I am.
We don't see anything yet.
Let's see. Here we go.
There you go.
There we go. So as part of this Science Shorts video series, of the 12 student mentors we have, we're going to ask for 3 volunteers who want to help us with this project, where we're going to be making a very short video about each one of those students. And the idea behind this video is it's going to talk something about your interest in STEM, maybe how you got interested in STEM, how you chose your major. What does a typical day look like for you in college? It can be very variable, but the goal behind this is to show students what it looks like to be a STEM major, what it might mean, because they don't know what it means to major in biology. What do you do every day? So if you're interested in doing this, the fun part of this is we have a professional video crew that's going to do like the filming and the editing for us. So, you've seen those like short 3-minute videos, and maybe there's like a shot of you walking to class and then you talking to the camera and all that. And so as part of this project, if you're chosen, you'll work with me and Lizzie to kind of craft a storyline about a video story that you want to shoot. And then we work with the film crew and we give them our ideas, and they help us come up with ways to shoot it. And if you do this, we have an additional stipend of up to $150. That would be in addition to the hours you're working as part of the other project. So if you think you're interested in this, I'll be sending an email around soon to solicit volunteers. If I get more than 3, then we'll just have to do some process to pick 3 of those students. Do you have any questions about this project?
I have a question. So when you say that they will be filmed by a professional, would that be like in person?
It could be, or if you're remote, then we would maybe figure out a way to do it remotely, right? Like film it through Zoom or something, or you would, because are you asking because you're not here?
I'm in Harford County, so I could come to campus if I needed to. Just like with COVID restrictions, I'd have to figure out how that would work out.
Sure. Yeah. So the idea is, like the film crew can travel a little bit. So if you're somewhere sort of near campus, or you would choose to meet at campus, or If that's not possible, then we could come up with a creative way to get the footage that they need. Yeah, we can do all sorts of magical things now that we're all used to with these different virtual setups. That was a good question.